Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
From the bench, kicks off in 3, 2, 1, now.
We are here with From the Bench reunion show. It's half an hour. I'm used to an hour, so I was kind of surprised.
You were kind of surprised because you
Yeah.
just love to talk.
I
Whoa.
love to talk. Whoa, I usually just got the little bit of the end of the show. And I was like, oh yeah, soccer.
Oh, that's funny. Hey. All right. So first thing we're gonna kick off today is basketball. We missed the last couple shows. We've been busy both at AFN and in the CYP MWR world. We had the From the Bench Naples pool, which was going large and in charge, and everybody was rocking it out and doing pretty well, including myself. And I ended up with 610 points because I haven't been able to get any points for the last couple rounds because of my teams have faltered. But it looks like the winner, because I don't think there's any chance that the second person can get it now, is going to be Luck of the Irish, Fitzpatrick Hoops 2, which I hope we can contact this person. I think they're actually in Iowa. I think they actually may be somebody that friend of on Facebook that got a part of it. So we're going to try to contact them and then maybe get them on the show, talk a little bit about the luck of their bracket. I'm not so sure that anybody's brackets were great. I just think it was who's ended up being better than the most of everybody else. And tonight's game is featuring a 7 seed against an 8 seed, UConn versus Kentucky. And the preview of this game is that Kentucky starts 5 freshmen, of which probably a majority of those 5 will not be back in college next year. They'll go pro. It's the whole one and done thing that I'm just a huge fan of. And I don't think you're a fan of that either, the one and dones. But they're playing UConn. Also interesting, neither one of these teams was in the tournament last year. Kentucky, because they didn't have a great season last year, but on the other hand, UConn, because they had academic sanctions, and so they weren't allowed to compete in the tournament this year. They're back this year. They're in the championship game, and between the two schools, UConn and Kentucky, they've won 6 of the last 18 titles in the tournament. And I think I'm pretty sure Kentucky, if they win this one, this will be their 9th championship. What makes it interesting is that Aaron Harrison, who has a twin brother on the team as well for Kentucky, he has drained 2 straight 3-pointers within the last seconds of the games to beat Michigan and Wisconsin, which stinks for me, being a Big Ten fan and wishing that the Big Ten had got to the finals, and then UConn having beat Michigan State to get in on their side, and then Florida got beat by UConn, and Florida, there were only their last 2 losses were against Connecticut, just recently to get in the Final Four to get to the championship, and then the game previous there, 30 games ago, they lost to Connecticut as well. So it sets up a big game. A lot of people may be staying up tonight to watch that game. I don't know what time that comes on. It's late, or early, depending on how you want to look at it for us. But the big thing always for me, the cheesy moment, as I fight this nice cold and sniffle through the microphone, is the one shining moment that'll play at the end, the big annual montage that anybody that grew up with NCAA basketball absolutely loves. Tomorrow night is the women's basketball championship, and because they just had their semifinal round last night, and it's going to be a big game. Whoever loses this game, it'll be their first loss of the season. So you have UConn, the Connecticut women, playing against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish women. But again, both teams are undefeated. I definitely know for both teams who I want to win and who I don't want to win. For the men, I'm hoping UConn beats Kentucky. I'd like to see some of the these guys that fought through this academic sanctions, and then also to be held out of the tournament, beat Kentucky, and plus I'm just not a big Kentucky fan, and that is going to make some of my good friends listening across the pond, 2 ponds away, in the Pacific, not so happy. I'm just not a big John Calipari fan, the coach. He's a great coach. Doesn't always do it right, according to quote unquote the rules. He's a big advocate for the one and done. It doesn't bother him. He's learned how to recruit to that. He gets these good guys in. He coaches them up. Kentucky wasn't great great.
So is he like trying to break into the pros himself or something?
He already did, and
Oh.
he was unsuccessful. So he was he coached UMass for a while, got them, I believe, to a Final Four. Went to the pros, coached at the New Jersey Nets, did not do well. And then he went to, after the pros, he coached a couple teams in the pros. Then he went to Memphis, got Memphis to the championship game where they lost to Kansas. That's when Derrick Rose was playing for Memphis, missed some free throws, cost them the game. And then now he went back to Kentucky, and he has won a championship with Kentucky since he's been back, and now he's going for another one as well. But he's very big into the one and done, which is not something that I'm a big fan of. I'd love to see these guys stay around, but it is what it is. It's a business. I mean, it's hard for some of these. It's hard to tell these kids that are really talented in basketball that we need you to stick around in college for 4 years, or you can go out early and get millions for your family.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's you got some of these kids that are coming from rough livelihoods, grew up in some hard situations, and then who are we to tell them that you can't make millions and support and provide for your family? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we wanted to touch on just briefly is, and you were talking about this as we came in today, just a little bit briefly. You were talking about baseball because your
Yes.
brother is a San Francisco Giants fan.
Huge fan, yeah.
Okay, so they lost to the Dodgers,
Yes.
I believe, last night. So, it's not that big a deal though.
Not right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Because we've got, a lot more games. Season just started. We got 162 games to go. Me being a Red Sox and Cubs fan, neither one of those teams are going great right now. I think they're right about, the Cubs are, 2 games below 500. Red Sox are about right at 500 or a couple games below. It doesn't matter. Like, people start freaking out, like good and bad. You get teams that are undefeated right now. Okay, so you've won 4 games in a row. Good job. There's a lot more games to be played. So we want to let everybody know we will obviously be touching Major League Baseball throughout the entire season, as we're going, but we're not going to dig too deep into it. We're not going to pick division winners in that because it's too easy, too early. A lot of things are still going on, some injuries and such. We have some of the big stories are we got some people coming back from PED or the steroids discussion that had been suspended. You got A-Rod, who's suspended for the entire season. You've got Derek Jeter, who's on his. We talked about it. I don't know if that was one of your last shows that we talked about, or if that was one of Yellen's first shows that we talked about, that Derek Jeter is retiring this year. He's going to be. He's all done, and he's going on this. This is his final kind of run through.
Well, I think we might have talked about this, how they say it's their final, but then they come back and they're like, oh no, I'm back.
But he's going. But he's
Okay.
already. But one of the things we talked about is he's going to be getting all these gifts.
Oh.
And so he just went to Houston and played with the Astros, and he was given probably one of the most gaudy-looking set of cowboy boots ever. I mean, it was like these New York Yankee cowboy boots. So, so he's going to be getting some good gifts. He's going to be getting some not-so-good gifts. But that's pretty cool. But, you brought up a good point we've talked about many times. You and I have talked about that retirement thing, that these guys say they're going to retire, and then they end up coming back. Like Mariano Rivera retired last year, the great Yankee closer. But you hear all these guys say, well, I want to retire. It's time to spend time with my family. Well, then they find that, well, you know what? It's time not to spend some time with family for a while. I hope that's not the case for some of these guys, but it is what it is. Now, when we come back from the commercial break, or sawn break or whatever it is.
Sawn break.
Sawn break, whatever it's going to be. We're going to talk about your favorite sport, hands down, the sport that we have touched on many times. Haven't touched on in a while.
Really?
No, well, not the sport, but we haven't touched on your what is it called? Frivolousness of, we found that soccer was the one sport that you would pay big bucks
Yeah.
possibly to go watch, but only if you got to get autographs and high fives and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff from some of your favorite players.
Oh, I have something on that, but when we come back.
All right.
All right. Right now I have "Stay the Night" by Zedd featuring Haley Williams.
I know that
We just heard your scream.
That
All
wasn't
right,
a
we are
scream.
back.
That was more like a.
From the bench. Because of all this World Cup news that I have for you.
Yeah. Hey, what was that? We were doing some trivia earlier. That one Lawn River. You got the Mississippi, the United States, and then that one. I always get it screwed up if it's in
I feel like
Africa.
the
What is that called?
oh,
what
you're
is that?
mean.
What is that river called?
the Nile.
The Nile.
It's not denial.
It's denial.
the Nile.
Ah. Man, this reunion show is going well.
People are like, "Oh, I can't believe she's back." Really.
That's probably exactly what they're saying.
Anyways, there are 60 days left until Brazil.
It's more. Isn't it more than 60?
67.
Okay, because I was gonna say, don't act like
Mm-hmm.
you're not like. Oh, there's this like
There's sort of like
maybe
a
around
month
60
and a
days. If we were to ask, like, it's actually 66 days, X amount of hours, and X amount of seconds before the World Cup comes to Brazil. And you were telling me earlier
yes.
that Brazil and Sochi are kind of like each other.
Yeah, they're being compared. There's 2 stadiums still unfinished. But they're saying if the stadiums are finished, there's still hotels, training areas, team meetup areas that aren't completed at all. So, I mean, we saw a lot of the tweets, a lot of articles on the hotels from Sochi. Did
Yeah.
you see the one where there was a wolf walking around in the hallway?
Jimmy Kimmel did it with the they made it up or whatever that it was a wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was Well, there was some pretty bad stuff too, like some of the water things that they showed, or the
And then-
athlete that couldn't get out of his room that had to beat down his door.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm on this team since I can use my muscles for this."
Well, and then there was another one that the whole house, like a house where I think it was an athlete had rented this house with his family, or it was like an athlete house or something, and one entire wall, like basically the outside wall on one side of it was not done. Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's all right. It'll be okay." And the good news is, I mean, let's be honest. If you were to pick the Olympics is horrible not to be completed on that. I mean, you're talking a whole bunch of different sports, whole bunch of
Yeah.
different athletes, whole bunch of different. I mean, athletes can be prima donnas. Let's be honest. I mean, and that's fine, especially if you're going to the Olympics. You kind of earn that. You've earned that right. But in soccer, the good news with this, there's not. I mean, worst case scenario, the stadiums aren't open. Hey, let's go just find a pitch. Seriously, let's just go find 100. Let's go find some grass and go play a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm just crazy surprised that Brazil
Yeah.
is having trouble with it. I mean,
Well-
soccer is. I mean, Brazil is soccer. Soccer is Brazil. I mean, really, besides Carnivale, this is what Brazil is known for.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
just that, like, over the couple years now, there just wasn't enough funding for it.
Yeah, but then you go to FIFA and you say, FIFA, get us some money. It's not like FIFA hasn't had a problem getting people money before. I mean, let's be honest. But I mean, they have the biggest ambassador that the game has ever known is from Brazil. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right? Come on. Starts with a P.
Pele?
Yay!
For some reason, it didn't click. I was like, oh.
He just wrote a book. He has a book out right now
Yeah.
talking about how, and I actually want to read this book. It talks about how his ideas for how soccer can better the world and vice versa, world better soccer, and just reading the previews of it. But I mean, it just kills me when these cities step up and say, hey, we want to do this, and then the stadiums aren't ready, and we're going to be, whatever. I mean, they get the ball released. What was that? Because that was like one of the last shows that we did. You and I did together, was that they had just released the soccer ball, for it. So I don't know. Brazil and Sochi.
I think the one thing that Brazil has for it is just that
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and they do have a lot more tourism. I mean, Sochi is dead right now. Like, there's nothing going on there.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think only that the Olympics left Sochi is the only reason right now that people aren't scattering to Russia. There are some other things possibly going on right now.
Yeah. But two of the stadiums... anyways, let's just move on. Two of the stadiums that are still unfinished is the Itaquerão in Sao Paulo, which is 68,000 seats, and is the host to the opening match of Brazil against Croatia. And it's not done.
So it's not the opening. Well, that's all right. You know what?
Yeah.
Just don't put the seats in. Everybody bring a blanket.
Yeah.
Bring a blanket. It's going to be like drive-in soccer. Come and enjoy it. I mean, your opening match, your home team.
Actually, they're saying that, like, it's okay. They just held one of the Brazil Cup matches in one of the other stadiums, and the stewards, they had hired 600 stewards, and they couldn't stop the crowd from going into the field.
Awesome. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Well, and you brought up another thing that happened, that to keep the games, quote unquote, safer.
Yeah.
What did they do?
The Rio de Janeiro police takes over infamous favela, which is a slum, to make it safer for soccer fans. And the slum is near the airport and also vital routes to Rio.
I find that almost, I don't know, I find it almost atrocious, because if you're familiar with China in Beijing, and when Beijing hosted the Olympics, they also had a very popular slum area that they basically took care of for the Olympics. I mean, took care of, quote unquote, and now they're doing the same thing in Brazil. And I don't know, it's disheartening to look at that. Oh, hey, we got this big sporting event. We haven't really cared about you folks ever. Yeah. We've let you have this area, or what, we've let, it'd be a slum, it'd be poor, it'd be, the kids suffering, whatever. And now we've got this big tournament coming in, the soccer tournament. And, oh, by the way, we're going to make sure that the world doesn't see you.
Yeah.
It's kind of disheartening. So, you talked about, as we were in a commercial break, went to a soccer match.
Yes, I did.
Wow, you were nervous.
I went to this was actually like a month ago. I went to the Napoli-Roma game. And
it was fun?
It was really fun.
Little excitement.
There was, because
let's be clear with our listeners, all 7 of you, that no, that's not true. There's probably 30 or 40, because there's a lot of people at the gym right now.
Cool.
So we're streaming down and somebody's lifting weights. So though what you're going to talk about was kind of loud and crazy.
Yes.
It was safe.
It was safe for
Correct?
The Romans. Kind of. They were sitting in like that metal box.
But I'm saying for like the people that are here that are going to be that want to go see a Napoli match.
Oh no, it's safe. It's definitely safe.
That's what I'm saying, is because what they might hear isn't something that necessarily they're used to hearing happens at soccer matches in the States.
Yeah, no,
MLS
it doesn't.
And that kind of stuff. So we don't want people to look at, oh my gosh, I can't go to that.
No, it's safe. It's just definitely entertaining.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what to call them. I guess
fans.
No, there was like a firework that they throw out, and it just creates
like a bottle rocket almost.
Boom. Yeah,
kind of like a bottle rocket.
That's like the whole point of it, is just to go boom, and it does, and it like rattles the stadium with this boom, and you're like, what's going on? And you think something's wrong because it's really loud, but it's just Neapolitans having fun with them and their flares and it's fun.
Well, if you have lived here even if you've been here a couple days, and if you haven't figured out the Neapolitans like their fireworks, then you haven't been in the right areas yet, because we've already, it's been what, hit 60 degrees last week
Yeah.
or so, and so like yesterday, this weekend, we live out in town, and there's kind of like a residence next to us that the last 2 summers it's been kind of quiet. Like our first summer, they were loud, music all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
And then last 2 summers, it's like been very quiet. Well, yesterday I think they're back because it's loud, and and you always know if there's a soccer match going on in Napoli
Yeah.
because every time they score, fireworks go off
Wow.
everywhere. Not that they need another reason
Yeah.
for fireworks to go off. So it is what it is. So so soccer 67 days. You're going to be going crazy pretty soon. So like so if someone said right now you can go to the World Cup free of charge, would you go?
Done.
Done?
Yeah.
Who would you cheer for though?
Spain.
That's right. I go it's pretty
Spain
good.
and then Mexico.
Yeah, but what if Mexico? Okay, but what if Spain and Mexico went to the final? You can't cheer for Spain, could you?
Yeah, no.
You'd have to cheer for
probably not.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, what's your other favorite team besides the States?
Besides the United States, I'd probably have to say, and I don't even know. I don't think they're in. I like it anytime the Czech Republic plays because of my heritage, and I just like the underdogs. I like seeing like the teams that aren't supposed to do well because I think it's hilarious when they beat some teams, and plus it's one of those things that ends up happening. So
That'd kind of be cool though, because Mexico came in not so great. I mean, they probably shouldn't have made the World Cup at all, but
who helped them?
Panama.
No.
Yes, it was.
No.
Who was
Who
it?
helped them? United
the
States.
US. Yeah.
Yeah. The way to forget
I think
that.
Panama was the one that was supposed to come in.
Panama was supposed to, I think, and then everybody was upset because the U.S. beat them. U.S. Tried, and we spent a whole segment on that show.
Yeah.
Hey, the other big soccer news, which this was surprising. And maybe it's not surprising to people that I guess follow the women's game, and I love watching the women's soccer game. But they just canned their coach. Just right after they won the game yesterday, 2-0 against China, and after the game, guy got canned. And it comes after, and you have the paper in front of you. They a poor showing in
the Algarve
tournament where they lost 2 games,
Yeah.
which ended a 40-something game winning streak of some sort. You know what's hilarious about it is when U.S. soccer, men's and women's, is doing well, the news is out there. I mean, you read it, you hear it, you see it, and I'm sure the same thing is similar to with Mexico as well. But when they're not doing well, you don't hear anything, nothing. Like there's not light. I mean, in today, this was pretty big news because it's a year. I think it is a year and a half from the Women's World Cup. Yeah. And that's significant. I mean, the U.S. Is expected by the fan base, and one we've talked about on the show too. We as Americans, as United States citizens, hate when our teams don't do well.
Yeah.
Like we just can't stand it. Like at the Olympics, the U.S. team did great. They really did good, but because we weren't the top ones, well, it's a failure.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We did pretty good, and
I kind of wish I would have been here for the Olympics. Figure skating. Oh, wow. But anyways, we're talking soccer
Did you
right
really
now.
just say figure skating? Wow.
Yeah, and like not a good wow though. I wasn't.
You weren't. Oh, so that was like a sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of how culture and Olympics, the ice skaters, the ice dancers,
Yeah.
for the U.S. that won gold, that are now on Dancing with the Stars, and Jimmy Fallon just rips on them all the time. Like, here, you guys won gold as ice dancers. So you have to be all good in dancing on ice. Is that really fair for them to be in Dancing with the Stars? Do you ever watch Dancing with the Stars?
Nope.
Me neither.
Okay, cool.
You watched any good movies
we can
lately?
Be friends. No, I haven't.
Did you ever watch the Rocky thing?
Probably not.
Do you know Yellen got through? She's already through the 3 Rockies.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair because we were pulling teeth to get you through a couple of them.
You know what I did see though? Captain America. Oh,
Was it good?
yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
I almost went and saw that yesterday. Maybe I might go see
Yeah.
it this week.
No,
But it was
dude.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
but all the previews I've seen are like, seriously. I mean, I know it's a Marvel film.
Yeah.
I know it's, shoot 'em up, throw 'em up, whatever kind of stuff. But every preview I've seen is like Captain America doing things that like a super, like jumping from these long buildings and falling on his back and doing a roll. I mean, but was that good?
He's super.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was worth the price of admission.
Yes. It was good. And I'm glad I went Saturday after there was already like 2 showings done.
Was it still packed?
It was busy, but it wasn't packed anymore.
So Captain America, what else have you seen?
I saw Pompeii.
Was that good?
It was good, but it wasn't like, oh wow.
Did it make you scared
No,
of where we're living
no.
with Vesuvius in the background?
Well, no.
You know what I would have thought would be cool is to watch, it would have been ironic, but to watch Pompeii in the amphitheater at Pompeii,
Oh, that would have been cool though.
but then like really mess with people and have like those ground shakers start.
Oh,
like during,
yeah.
I'm just saying that'd be
Oh, that would have. Or like go to the top of Mount Vesuvius and do fireworks. Okay, anyways, I think we've had a great show. It's
We
been nice
have.
having a reunion again.
It has. We should maybe do it sometime again.
Yeah.
Then we could talk about rivers and stuff like the Denial River, and things like that. Oh, but one last thing I want to finish on this because
Yeah.
we talked about movies you've watched some. We got review, but what about your review of the concert that you went to in Milan, the Bastille concert?
Oh wow.
Was it good?
It was good, and they're coming down to Rome, and I want to see them again.
When are they coming out of Rome?
June, July-ish.
Really?
timeframe?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because the only concert that's not on my horizon, but that I've talked about, is that my daughter, we were,
Oh, One Direction.
she's going to One Direction in June,
Yeah.
and yeah, my wife and her are going up to Paris to see
Yeah.
that concert. So that's exciting because I haven't.
You should take your son to the Bastille. You do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
How do you think would he do all right? Was that? I mean,
Yeah.
was it pretty crazy though?
No.
No.
I mean, you sit up top and you're fine. You just sit there and watch the concert, and it was pretty.
And you guys went to Milan and did that,
Mhm.
right? Did you guys do any touring that day?
No.
Milan, just went to the concert.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, it was nice having you. It's nice seeing you again. Hopefully, you come
Thank
back
you.
to the MWR
Well,
in
I'm
the
glad.
afternoon show.
I want to come to the MWR afternoon
Yeah.
show, and just again, so you know, it isn't because I don't like doing the show with you. It's because I'm enjoying coaching high school athletics right now,
Yes.
and we want to make sure that people stay tuned to that because all of the sports teams for spring for the Naples Wildcats are doing awesome right now. So maybe coming up in these morning shows later From the Bench with me and DJ Yellen that we'll get some of those athletes on to interview.
All right. Cool. I might see you again because I mean, you never know who's gonna show up on each show,
I
right?
know you guys just kind of do your thing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
thank you for coming in. See you later.